There. My name is Matthew Arnfield, and this is for COM 231, and this is my inspirational speech. To start everything off, the story is The Necklace, and it's about a man and a woman, Mr. and Mrs. Loisel. Miss Loisel, she wishes for the finer things in life, and they're lower class citizens, so they don't have a lot. And she idols all those other people that do, and she gets a little jealous sometimes. Her husband comes home one day with an invitation, and he gives it to her, and she's a little happy whenever she sees it. And then she starts crying because she realizes that she doesn't feel pretty without having these things. So she tries to persuade her husband into buying her a dress. So he has 400 francs saved up, and he was going to use that to buy a gun, but instead he decides to give it to his wife so she can get a dress. So she goes off and gets a dress, comes home, and she doesn't feel like she has everything. So she asked if maybe he would give her some money to get some jewelry. So he doesn't have any more money to give her. So there's a lady that she used to go to school with back in the day, and she is well off. She has a lot. So he says, Matilda, why don't you go talk to your friend and maybe she'll let you borrow some of her jewels. So she said, yeah, I'll go try that. So she goes over there and she talks to her friend, and her friend is willing to let her have a jewelry for some night, or I guess borrow the jewelry. So she ends up looking, and then she finds this necklace right here. She tries on the necklace and it's perfect. So her friend does let her borrow it, and that night they go to the party and they have a great time. Her husband ends up falling asleep, and she ends up staying away dancing probably for 4 more hours after he's already asleep. So they do that, and then she comes back, and then they take a carriage home. And then she gets home and she starts feeling around, and she doesn't have her necklace. It's gone, it's missing, she doesn't know where it's at. So frantically, her husband and her, they start looking everywhere. Coat pockets. Her husband, who has to be at work at 10 o'clock, and this is already at 7, he says to his wife that he's going to go out and look for a necklace, retrace the steps. So he goes out, looks for probably 2 hours, comes home, he can't find it anywhere. So they're a little upset. They wait a couple days, and they go to different jewelry places. They can't find a match because they were going to try to replace it. So they finally go to one jeweler, and there is a jeweler that has one that looks the exact same. So they look at it, they ask him the price, and it's 365,000 francs. And obviously they don't have enough money, so they had to start borrowing money from people, notes, and just try to find means to get this necklace to give back this woman after she's borrowed it. So they get that, and then they end up buying the necklace, and then Matilda goes to her friend. She doesn't even say anything. She just gives her the necklace and walks off. Just, I guess, to return it. Not saying that it took so long, but then she returns it, and now they're stuck with paying off all this debt. So for the next 10 years, her husband and her take another job, and they start working. And they work for 10 years to pay off the necklace. Finally, they get it paid off. One day, Matilda comes in and she sees her friend walking in the park. So she comes back up to her, and she's I guess relieved that she has finally paid off this debt, and she can actually tell her what happened. And she sees her friend. She starts talking to her, and she says, "I've paid off your necklace. You know, I lost it at the party." And she said, I actually went to the store and I bought one to replace it, and then I came and gave it back to you. And she said, "Dear Matilda," she said, "how much did you spend on this necklace?" She said, 365,000 francs. And then she says, "My dear, mine was only a replica." So she spent 10 years working for something that she should have just told her friend in the first place that she lost her necklace. So the moral of the story is always tell the truth when something arises. Constantly lying will lead to a life full of misery. So what I got out of it is that you need to tell the truth whenever something does happen in life, instead of just keep letting it build up and build up, because eventually something could happen after that. And how it affects everybody else, I think, follows the same line. If you tell the truth in life, then you're better off. So I thank y'all.